Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else, and welcome to a Friday late afternoon episode of Ted's Booze Cellar with me, your most gracious host, Ted. It is currently just about to go 5:45 on the 16th of May 2025. I hope I'm finding you all in a good state of affairs, and if I'm not, then I hope things improve very soon. Now, I haven't done an episode for a few weeks just because honestly just wasn't feeling it, and I just, when I present the show, I just want it to be at least moderately entertaining, or at the very least not worn down by the fact that I look absolutely beaten down in my videos. So if I get to a point where I'm just like not great mental energy, and I'd rather just take a quick break. I think I kind of said something like that similar to the start of this year, but I just wanted to give you guys that little bit of an explanation, but I'm sure it's not a big issue. But we do go on as we mean to go on, and while I am going to get onto some wines and beers very, very soon, because we've been reviewing a lot of cocktail things recently, I wanted to kind of continue that trend, at least for this episode anyway. Now, I went into my local off license after I finished work today to get some beers to enjoy myself for tonight, and I saw the subject of today's episode. This is the apple sour martini can from Funkin Nitro Cocktails. So I think I have maybe reviewed something from these guys before. I can't quite remember exactly, but I definitely have tried their cocktails before. And they're generally, I don't know, they never really left much of an impression on me because I think I've only tried like one or two and they were all right, but they weren't really that remarkable. But this can, while it does have a bit of a plain, boring, corporatey design to it, the idea of an apple sour martini is quite interesting because I like martinis a lot, and while apple sour isn't necessarily my favourite flavour, it can be done really well. So I'm interested to see what this is like, although, again, apple sour flavoured stuff doesn't usually agree with me too well, but I'm hoping it's more of a thing of like, it's just the flavour that disagrees with me, and they actually do use fresh ingredients, like with Buzzballs cocktails. But I'm going to give it a fair shake of the stick, and I'm not going to judge it too harshly before I've actually tasted it. But obviously, I do have to just be honest and say, look, the design of the can and the labelling, it's not bad, it's just a bit dull, so I'm going to give it a like 5 out of 10. It looks fine, but it's just very, very unremarkable, and you can kind of tell someone who's just a bit corporate made this. But it says on the back of the can here, trusted by top bartenders, we've been mixing great tasting cocktails since 1999. Our apple sour martini serves up all the vibrant flavour and velvety smooth texture of a cocktail crafted at the bar. We'll be the judge of that. Chill, in parentheses, don't freeze, then crack open to infuse with nitrogen to create a silky bar quality cocktail that you can enjoy straight from the can. I'm thinking that they mean the nitrogen in the can, obviously, to keep it fizzy. Or go to the full experience. Pour into a martini glass and garnish with a slice of fresh apple or a twist of lime. Well, I'm not nearly classy enough to do that, so we're just going to have to make do with metal straw here, as I'm sure you guys are well acquainted with now, having seen the Buzzballs cocktail videos. Yeah, it's a 200 milliliter can, 5% alcohol volume, pretty standard for cocktail cans like this. I don't know, I can't remember how much it was in the off license. It was in the region of like £2 to £3 or so, which is kind of standard for these kind of cans. I think the best place to get stuff like this for premixed cocktail cans is Aldi, because their home brand versions are usually pretty good and they're all pretty damn cheap as well. I don't know if the price has increased recently, but I think I remember their home brand basic gin and tonic can being only like about 79 pence. It might have gotten a bit expensive since the last time I checked, but that's how much it was from what I remember, and that is actually pretty good, that stuff. I think it's called Grayson's, actually, and it is actually quite nice. Anyway, we'll have ourselves a quick snifter of this to see what our first impressions are like. Wow, that is very appley. So, what it kind of reminds me of is it's a mixture of, when you get a super green smoothie, particularly the one from Wagamama, and you drink it all the way down to where there's just the pulp at the bottom. It kind of smells like a combination of that and like a sour apple boiled sweet. It's a really unique smell, and it's actually, well, it's not necessarily my thing. I mean, the flavour of the nose is actually not too overpowering. It doesn't cloy in your nostrils too much. So while it's not an amazing smell for me personally, I think the fact that it doesn't sort of like sting for too long is actually quite a nice addition. It's fairly light, although not the most pleasant nose for me personally, so I'm probably going to give it a 4 out of 10. It's not great, but definitely could be a hell of a lot worse. But as always, we'll have to have a quick palate cleanser before you see what this sucker really tastes like. So to everyone at home, I hope you have a great weekend ahead. And remember, if you are drinking some drinks this weekend, remember to stay hydrated with some water and obviously drink responsibly. Right, and on to the most important part of the video, which is to see what this sucker tastes like. So, to everyone at home, I hope you have a great weekend ahead, as mentioned before, and bottoms up. Oh, wow, that's very strong. Oh man. Oh god. So, it's really strange, right? So, when you initially sip it for like about like half a second to like 3/4 of a second, it's pretty standard. It's just like a standard apple sour taste with a bit of a vodka-y tint to it, and it's actually not that bad. Like it's all right. Like it's gunning for being like a 6 out of 10. You know, not amazing, but like decent and actually pretty tasty. But then once you let it come in, sort of really digest it for just over a second or so. Yeah, it's just after a second after you've sipped it in, you get this weird hit at the back of your throat, and it's very cloying. It's like a cloudy apple flavour, but it's very overpowering. It's really sharp. It's super acidic, and there's not really any other flavours to kind of counterbalance it, really. But the most distinct thing about that kick at the back of the throat is that, yeah, it's just not very nice. It's like got this cloyy, kind of almost perfumey apple taste to it. Whereas, like, up to that point, it's just like a fairly slightly sour, bit overly acidic apple martini taste. With the aftertaste, it honestly does just kind of spoil it a bit. Like, in the past, there has been cocktail cans where it's either been all good, all bad, or all pretty so-so and like bang in the middle. With this, it's a bit of a roller coaster because it starts off pretty good. You know, it starts at like a 5.5 out of 10, and then it peters at a 6, and then there's a split second where it's like kind of inches up towards a 7, and you think it's going to be decent, but not like super remarkable. But then it just takes a stinking nosedive, and I really do think it is primarily down to the aftertaste and the hit that you get at the back of your throat once you swallow it down and really digest that flavour. So, yeah, I wish I could give it a bit more of a positive spin, but yeah, I can't. I really can't. I just don't like this. Let me get it. Let me cleanse my palate momentarily, and then. Yeah, that's bad. It's far from being the worst pre-mixed cocktail can I've ever had, but it's not great. Yeah, really not a fan. I'm gonna have to say 2 out of 10. Would not recommend. It's very acidic as well, so I feel like if I drank loads of this, it would give me heartburn. And like, obviously you will get heartburn if you drink a lot anyway, but I mean, like, this just feels like it will give you heartburn after drinking like half this can. So it's not a very pleasant experience. It's overly intense. The aftertaste does kind of spoil the flavour quite severely, actually. And even then, it's super sour. And like, I get that's kind of the point of it, but it's so sour to a degree that it's just kind of hard to enjoy it, and that it's kind of hard to avoid any other flavour other than the apple. So, yeah, it's just not great for me personally. 2 out of 10, bit of a shame, but oof. Then again, some of my most popular videos have been reviews of really terrible drinks, particularly pre-mixed cocktail cans. So, Oh god, maybe this one will do numbers, who knows. But either way, if you guys like this video, leave a like, share and subscribe. If you have any suggestions for future episodes of Ted's Booze Cellar, let me know in the comment section down below, as well as any other suggestions for video formats or any other drinks I should review. And if you want to check out my other bits and pieces, I'll leave the links to all that in the video description down below as well. But until next time, have fun, stay safe with whatever you're doing, don't do anything I wouldn't do, drink responsibly, know your limits, wash your hands, and I'll see you guys at the bar next time on Ted's Booze Cellar. Bye bye for now. Alright, time to have a beer.